Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful Wednesday. This is the 6th day of April. It's amazing how time flies in that sense. We're now, believe it or not, into the fourth month with 8 more months to go before 2022 is a wrap. I'm astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn here with Live with Lloyd, where the joy of numerology is the joy of learning and enlightenment. As you see, I have on the screen my guest who's going to be coming up. Her name is Leah Ray, and she's the most interesting individual. And we're going to find out everything about her. But before I do, I always then kind of let you know what's going on with the forecast. And here it is right here. So today is Wednesday, as you see. It is the 6th day of April. The sun is in the sign of Aries. The moon is still in the sign of Gemini. It's a 1 universal month, an 11 universal week, a 7 universal day. So therefore, those who are under Cancer and Pisces and Taurus and Libra, this is a good day for you. And those that are on the 5th, I see I made a mistake. I'm in error. The 6th or the 7th, the 15th or the 16th, the 24th or the 25th. Those are the days. So I'm off by one date, but I make mistakes. So the 5th and the 6th, that was for yesterday. But today, technically, those born on the 6th and the 7th, the 15th and the 16th, the 24th and the 25th of any month. That's rare. I got to check myself the next time. Anyway, I've learned how to acknowledge that I'm human. Okay, Lloyd Strayhorn is not walking on water as of yet. All righty. And everybody, I want to thank you very much for joining us this evening. And I'm going to bring on a very interesting guest. It's the first time for her. I've seen her once, but now I'm seeing her again. And so I'd like to introduce to you Leah Ray. Leah, how are you, young lady?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you. You look well. You look well. Let me ask you this. Um, there's a topic that we talked about, but I think first of all we're going to go into the things you wear several hats. You go from anywhere from working for the city, working for the government, but aside from that, you have done things dealing with the more organic side. Can you tell us what led you down this path?
So most likely it's because of COVID-19. I saw a lot of people losing their lives and then also losing themselves spiritually. And a lot of us been through traumatic experiences during that time. So I thought it would be very important to educate people on how to heal their bodies naturally, how to build up their immune system, and how to get rid of traumas.
You know what's interesting that I never heard? You said you saw because people don't know you are an EMS person. Am I correct?
Correct.
This is her right there to make it official. She does work for the city. She does know what she's talking about. But here's the interesting thing. You said lost their lives, but lost their spirituality. I never heard that before. What do you mean?
So what I mean is a lot of people they were traumatized because they lost a lot of loved ones. A lot of people got sick during that time. It wasn't very easy for a lot of people. So I thought it would be very important for people to know how to deal with situations when those situations come about.
So it's like, are you saying that in some instances they like lost their faith in things or lost their faith in living or whatever the case is?
Yes, like lost their faith in spirituality, or a lot of people may have not known how to build their immune systems naturally to protect themselves from COVID-19.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm gotten a little ahead of myself. How long have you been EMS worker?
So I've been in the fire department for three years and a half.
Okay, I'm going to show a picture of them. Um, what made you go into this line of work? Because this is not
Um,
easy.
so in the beginning, I was thinking about going to join NYPD originally, and I remember my mom showed me an event for the fire department, the FDNY. So I went to the event and I was playing around with the fire hoses and the
Mhm.
oxygen tanks. They let me tour the ambulances and play with the sirens. and I hung around a lot of people from the fire department, and my heart had like desire for it. So I just said, I think this is for me because I like helping people.
Well, another area you went into is working for the government, which is the National Guard, the Air Force National Guard, I do believe, right?
Yes.
Now, what happened there?
So I joined the Air Force last year in November, and I decided to join because I always wanted to serve my country,
Hmm.
and I wanted to follow in my grandfather's footsteps. He was in the Navy, and everybody in the military was telling me, they said, join the Air Force is one of the best branches. So I was like, I'm gonna just go for it. And so far, is no regrets. I love it. It's an amazing experience.
Very good. But listen, when you got the fire department, don't you have to go through rigorous physical training, lifting, carrying stuff, from what I understand? No?
Yes. When you go to the fire department EMS, they put you through an academy for about 4 months. The training is just like the military. So you have drill instructors, you're doing push ups, you're doing sit ups. You got to be on time, your uniform got to be clean and pressed. So, yes, it's a lot of training you got to go through for 4 months. And you got to pass all your exams as well.
Well, I would imagine if you work for EMS, you've done everything that's required, including being on time, 4 months of training, taking the test, and passing
Yes.
the course. All right, good, good. So I would imagine that has there been a point at any time during your EMS service so far in the 3 years where things was very almost dramatic or shocking to you, if that makes sense? I'm sure, it's like calling 911. When you call 911, it's not going to a party, that's for sure. If there's some drama, something. What has been your experience with EMS worker?
Um, most of my experiences in EMS have been good. A lot of times when people call 911, because I'm nice to them, they always remember me. Sometimes I see the same people every day or every other day, and I build a lot of relationships with people and my patients. But I would say my most traumatic experience was probably during COVID, during that time, because
Hmm.
we was responding to over like 7,000 911 calls a night and dealt with a
Hold,
lot
hold,
of
hold, hold.
deaths.
How many 711 calls per night were you responding to during COVID?
During COVID, the FDNY responded to like 7,000 911 calls a night. It was really crazy. It was a lot of 911 calls.
Wow. Do you work out of a particular borough, or you have boroughs that you work out of, and how do they work that out?
So when you're in the academy, they give you a dream sheet and you put what boroughs you want. I
Oh,
got the
they call it a
Bronx.
dream sheet, huh?
Yeah, so you
You
don't
pick
always
what
get
you
what you
want.
want, but
Okay.
I got the Bronx, and I'm actually really glad that I got the Bronx. I love the Bronx.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's interesting. Okay. Now that we got that out the way, I was going to save that for last, but for whatever reason that came first. But anyway, now over and above working for EMS, over and above being a part of the National Guard Air Force Division, what led you to this more esoteric side of things? And then also to discuss the thing we're going to discuss, which is Yonic system or something like
Yanni, Yanni,
that. I know, same thing. No, it's not. I know it's not the same thing. But anyway, CMOS, that seems to be one of your biggest things.
Oh, oh yeah. So I sell sea moss gel, and what it does, it helps get rid of mucus. It helps with inflammation. It has omega 3s. It has zinc, and it also contains 92 minerals, which your body is made up of,
Hmm.
and it also gets rid of allergies, and it's good for digestive health. And what I do is I make it into a gel form. It lasts for about a month, and you could put it like in your oatmeal, your smoothies. Um, and people also, they put it on their skin. Sometimes I put it on my face.
Okay. Isn't, it's interesting if you are in the world of the EMS, which is dealing with rescue medicines, would this be a contradiction of what you're doing now? Because when you're talking about CMOS, when you're talking about body scrubs, we're going to talk about, that would appear to be kind of like counterintuitive or something. Has anybody says, well, I don't know what that CMOS is if you're in this, if you're working for EMS. Does that make sense?
I actually never heard that before, but I know at work, I've got a lot of my coworkers to try this, and it actually was very helpful during the time when I was dealing with COVID because
Mhm.
I actually didn't get sick or catch it because I was taking sea moss gel every morning.
What is the magic of sea moss gel? Like you said, 92 vitamins and minerals that we need.
Minerals that you need. It also it really boosts your immune system and it gets rid of inflammation and mucus.
That's very important. I don't know what you know about Dr. Sabi, who was also born on the 26th, like you, but in
Yes.
another month. He was in the sign of Sagittarius, where you're in Virgo. He had talked a lot about the buildup of mucus, that majority of the illnesses we have is because of mucus buildup. And so you're
Yes.
saying that's what it does.
Yes.
Okay. So how long does it take you to make these, to prepare for them?
Um, so when you make the sea moss, when I get the sea moss, it comes straight from the shore, so it's like a whole process. You gotta let it soak in a bowl for about 8 hours or more. You gotta put it with key limes and water, and you gotta let it soak like overnight. And when you take it out, you pour it in a blender with alkaline water, and you mix it in. It only takes like a couple of minutes after it's done cleaning.
So now it's interesting. You said you soak it and you do key limes. Now, key lime is used to alkaline the body. Is that part of the process?
Yes.
Okay. That's interesting. Now, body scrubs. What is that about?
Okay, so I just sold out of my last one, but I sell body scrubs that have Himalayan salt in it, organic sugar in it, and it has grapeseed oil, sunflower oil, coconut oil, and sweet almond oil, and also cocoa butter. And I put peppermint oil in it, and I also put lavender in it, and it's really good for exfoliating the skin. And the thing I really love about my scrubs is that it doesn't contain chemicals in it, so people do not have reactions to it.
How did you get into making body scrubs in addition to CMOS? I mean,
So
was
the
there somebody complained or somebody said something, you said, I think maybe I'll make some scrubs. Does that make sense?
So the body scrubs, it was something that I always did for myself. And when I looked online, I saw so many businesses selling it. So one day I took it to work and I gave it to my coworkers to try it. And then when they saw their hands like shining, glowing, they was like, I'll buy like 5 jars. And I didn't realize people wanted to buy it. And that's where it started.
Good, good. Now, this thing called Yanni steaming, did I say it right
Yes.
this time? Okay, I'm quite unfamiliar because of my anatomy structure. What is yonic steaming for those that may not know? Some people obviously know, but I never assumed that everybody knows. That's where people make mistakes. They, well, everybody should know. What is yonic steaming, and how did you get into that area of what you do?
So I've always been into Yanni steaming at home on my own. Like I have a special bowl at home where I sit over it with herbs. So I just did it for myself. So Yanni steaming is the word Yanni itself is Sanskrit for sacred space, like your sacred temple, your vaginal area.
Hmm.
And it was also used in certain parts of Asia, Africa, and the Mayans and ancient civilizations. And it's a process when you sit over hot water and herbs, and you sit with this on this gown. It's kind of like a sauna. And what it does, it helps with the elasticity.
Hmm.
It helps lubricate. It helps get rid of infections. It helps for women that have problems getting pregnant. It helps
Really?
get rid of traumas because a lot of women hold on to traumas down in their womb.
How
So
do
it does
you
a
do
number of
that?
things.
When you say they hold on to trauma down there, what do you mean?
Trauma, like some women may have been through sexual abuse,
Ah,
they've been in abusive relationships, they may have a soul tie to maybe a toxic ex or a partner or a lover or someone that they keep thinking about, and they need to cleanse that energy away.
I never thought about that. But again, I'm, kind of built a little different. So, but let me ask you this too: Is it does this also maybe apply to men? Does
It
that make
actually
sense?
does. For men, it's called ligam steaming, and it's
Who?
the same ligam steaming.
Ligum. Okay.
Yes, ligam steaming, and it's the same process. They wear a gown, but of course it's not this type of gown, but
Yeah.
they wear they
Yeah.
wear a gown and they sit over herbs, and what it does for them, it helps with the prostate, it helps get rid of infections, it helps get rid of soul ties, it helps with any problems that they have in their genitalia area.
Interesting. How did you come upon this? I mean, you look kind of young to want to say, well, let me start getting into the yonic steaming. How did you read about it? Were you, for lack of a better way of putting it, traumatized yourself? Does that make sense?
I wouldn't say necessarily I was traumatized myself, but I would say that I felt like I got my answers from within. Like videos started popping up for me on YouTube, so I kind of got interested in it. And then I started copying it. And when I saw it was working for me, like I have a lot of confidence and I have energy, then I said, this is something I would like to teach other people.
But see, it's interesting because astrologically you are a Virgo, and Virgo is definitely one of the hygiene signs in the zodiac. So that kind of makes sense to me, astrologically speaking. Okay. Um, the process, how long is the process from start to beginning? And for people for women especially who've never had that experience, what's the first step they take? Do they see you, or you can show them and give them instructions, or how does that work?
So when they come here, I have them fill out a waiver and I have them fill out a form that goes over all the things that they need to know before the Yanni steam, based on any type of conditions that they may have. Like for an example, women who are on a menstrual cycle can't yoni steam for
Mhm,
obvious reasons. If
mhm,
they have an
mhm.
IUD, they can't yoni steam. If they have piercings in that area, they can't yoni steam.
Really?
Um, yes.
Why
Or
is
if
that?
or if they're pregnant, they can't yoni steam because when you're pregnant, you can that can cause a miscarriage because the point of yoni steaming is that it's detoxifying your vaginal area. So if you have a fetus down there, it can cause it to come out.
That's interesting. The piercing seemed like that would just be like whatever
Very
legal
hot,
piercing.
uncomfortable.
Now, what about women who talk about yeast infections? What about fibroids?
Oh, if they have fibroids and yeast infections, that's definitely beneficial with yoni steaming. I had clients that came to me that had those issues, and when they've been starting the yoni steaming, their fibroids have been getting smaller and smaller. Their menstrual cycle has been regulated, so yoni steaming actually helps to get rid of those issues.
So you're saying in some of the cases of using yonic steaming, women can avoid maybe surgery for those that are apprehensive about getting it? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, they can avoid it. It will detoxify your vagina naturally with the herbs and the steam.
Okay. And for the now, how long from start to finish? How long does a person has to start treatments? Do they have to have several treatments? Is it just one visit or something like that? Talk to me.
So they can have as many visits as they want. It depends on the situation. I have some people that come to me once a week or once every other week based on what's going on in that area.
Hmm.
Um, but it's recommended to at least Yanni see maybe a couple of times a month, but it varies from situation to situation.
Okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what some of the comments are. Somebody said clean the refrigerator. I don't know what that means, but okay, whatever that means. Is that some of the a term that women have used, cleaning the refrigerator?
That's new to me.
Yeah, it says yes, it's going real fast. Love your intro music and show. Okay, good. Greetings, good evening. Looking forward to listening to your interesting show. Please take a moment to like. Yeah, you know, in fact, I always forget to tell people like, share, and subscribe. Even though it's on the forecast, I just forget. My focus is on okay. This is it. All right. So let's see, agent. I'm looking for. anybody that may have something. Um, Now, here's what I need to ask you though until I find something. Is there a common question that women asked you? Are there do's and don'ts? Does that make sense based upon your experience to date? Does that make sense?
Um, so a lot of women have asked me the same question that you just asked me. They asked me like, what's the contraindications of yoni steaming? Does it really work? How long is the process? It's this. They asked those same exact questions that you just asked me.
And how do you answer them? What is the most
So
common question they will ask you then, for example?
So when they ask me how long is the process, I tell them is the process is 30 minutes to an hour, whichever one that they decide. When they ask me the contraindications, I tell them you cannot be pregnant in yoni steam. You cannot yoni steam if you have an IUD. You cannot yoni steam if you have piercings because it can cause that. It could cause issues.
Are women aware that it's that they can't have it on their cycles too, or those some just I would imagine, listen, I would imagine every woman doesn't have the same knowledge you do about cleaning the area like that. Have some ever came and thought that, well, even though I'm on my cycle, I can start on this process?
Well, so far, usually, if I have clients that are on their cycle, usually they'll text me that morning, like, I apologize, I'm gonna have to reschedule because I just got my cycle. So far, the woman knew straight off the bat that they couldn't they couldn't yoni steam. And sometimes too with the clients, I let them know ahead of time before they even come. Like I have
Okay.
a phone conversation. I let them know, like, listen, you cannot yoni steam if you're pregnant, if you're on your menstrual cycle. So I let them know beforehand so they don't waste their time.
So you're almost saying to me that women sometimes, or a lot of times, instinctively know that at that time of the month, that's not the time to get it.
Yes.
Okay, now I got something from Mary Mooney that you can see at the bottom of your screen. It says it cleans your womb. The ancestors did it all the time. You do it after childbirth. Now we didn't mention that too. I would imagine that helps.
Yes. It helps clean the womb out after you give birth to children. Also, they said a lot of women who go through postpartum depression, it's recommended that they yoni steam. It helps get rid of stress and anxiety.
Interesting. Okay. Somebody also asked, how many years have you been doing steams?
So on myself, I've been doing steams for a couple of years. On other people and my clients, I've only been doing it for a couple of months.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good enough. Good enough. Another person asked, why can't women use IUD with IUDs have a Yanni steam? I didn't know that. Are
Okay.
you familiar with this? What they're talking
So
about?
yes, so the IUD, they can only steam if they have IUDs because it can come out, it can move it around, it can maneuver it can cause damage to the wall inside.
Okay. Another question. Another person asked, is it good for bacteria? I would imagine so, based upon what you're saying. But that's my
Yes,
assumption being a guy.
yes, it's very good for bacteria. It's very good for regulating the good bacteria and bringing out the bad bacteria.
Okay, that's a win-win then. One person says, "How do you make the herbal concoctions?" Because I remember when we was talking early before doing the show, when you was trying to explain it to me, and I had that huh moment uh, that you says, "What herbs or herbal concoctions do you put in as part of that steam process?" If that makes sense,
Okay.
if that's not giving away secrets.
No. So the herbs, it depends on what the woman wants. Like some women, they don't get their period, so I would use herbs like calendula, mugwort, needle, um, roses, or it depends on what they want. But that's how I make the herbal concoctions based on the issue that's going on.
One thing you said was a word I didn't recognize, Kandula or something. Was that the word you used?
Yes,
What is
it's a herb, it's a flower.
it's a flower, and what is its purpose?
So Candula helps to detoxify the womb and clear out all the infections. It's very good for the yoni. It's actually one of the main ingredients that's used in all the yoni steam recipes.
Interesting. Didn't I heard you use the word needles? Who's he? What's I mean, we'll say the
Needle is needle with a T and an L and an E. That does basically the same thing, and it helps to regulate the bacteria that's inside.
okay, and this is a response from one of my favorite people. She's been a guest on the show, Mama Mystic. In fact, she published a book and talked about the womb. So that's interesting. So near the end of the show, I've got a surprise for her too. So anyway, she says, "Peace, Goddess Leah." And Mama Mystic is real cool. Her husband is nice. He is the one hood mystic and whatnot. And one person said they just click like, thank Jackie Washington, because I forget to tell people to click and subscribe and share and all that stuff. And then they said there's a bell. I never see where the bell is. That I guess that's where you subscribe and everything. I'll be catching up with this. Now this person says Colenduna. Was that what I just tried to pronounce out of my mouth?
Yes, it's people pronounce it different ways. Calendula, candula. People pronounce it different ways, so I don't really think it's a right or wrong way to say that word.
Okay. So other than this one and needles, there was a third one you mentioned, and then roses was
Um,
easy to understand. I got roses.
yes, I like to include rosebuds in a recipe for self love.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. But there was another one you mentioned whose language I didn't understand. That was Kandula, needles, and then something else you mentioned, and then roses.
I think it may have been mugwort.
Yes, that's him. That's him. Yeah, that's him.
Um, Mugwort is very good to it helps maintain your pH balance, so it keeps the smell regulated in that area.
Boy, learn something new every day. This person wants to know: can you get sea moss from anywhere?
In my opinion, I'm always cautious about where I get my stuff from. I always go based on the quality. But as far as me, I get my sea moss from Tanzania, Africa.
Really?
Um, yes, Tanzania, Africa, and it comes straight from the shores. And when I make the sea moss and I put it in with the water, the way I know if it's real or good quality is when you start mixing it and it turns into a thick gel. That's how you know when it's good quality. But I've heard like low quality sea moss, it stays kind of watery.
It stays kind of watery. Okay.
Yes, the low quality sea moss. So I never experienced buying the low quality sea moss, but from what people tell me is the ones that's lower quality that's here in America, it stays kind of watery.
Why? How did you come across the fact that you would get it from Tanzania? Which I think is interesting because that would have
So
been the last place I'd have thought about.
it's this YouTuber that I watch. She's actually famous on YouTube. Her name is Minx Diva, and she talks about angel numbers. And whenever I would see angel numbers, I would watch her channel. So I began following her on Instagram, and I saw her posting sea moss gel, and she allows people to buy from her. And she also told me her vendor. I paid her to know her vendor, and I tried it out for myself. And when I saw it was working for me and working for the people around me, I was like, this sea moss is good quality.
All right. Okay, I'm a numerologist, and you said something that piqued my interest. What are your angel numbers that you see all the time?
So it depends. Sometimes I see 77s. Like today, I saw 3 7s a couple of times today.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sometimes when I pray and I ask for certain things, I would notice those angel numbers will coordinate with what I asked for. It's almost like confirmation from my angels, like,
Can you give
hey,
us an example? That sounds interesting. Can you give an example?
um, like if I pray or I put out an intention, I want more money, I'm gonna see a lot of sevens. Or if I pray and ask God for clarity on a situation that I know the answer to, I'll see like a lot of fours, and I know fours represent intuition. So that to me means like, hey, like you know what you're supposed to do. You listen to your intuition. So I would just see numbers that would just coordinate with what I asked for.
Okay, that's interesting. Somebody asked, how can this one ask? How can they buy? Did I hold it? They want to know how can they buy the CMOS. In other
Um,
words, I guess they want to know, can they buy it from you? Do you sell it?
oh yes, I sell the CMOS 32 ounce for $40. I'm located at 2230 Church Avenue, Brooklyn. Currently do by appointment only since I do first responder military, so I do it on my days off.
Okay, let's put this up a second. This is Leah Ray's banner, holistic womb healer, makeup CMOS and body scrubs. Her contact number down. Is this where people can call you to 347-669-5143?
Yes, they can call me or they could text me.
Okay, and they can also go to your IG or Instagram at Leah's LEAHS underscore manifesting underscore place. And you also have a cash app so you can continue to doing the work. My question to you, did you ever think in your wildest dreams that A, you would work for emergency for the city of New York, or B, that you will wind up going into the National Guard Armed Forces of the Air Force Division? What were
Uh,
your thoughts when you were a little girl coming up? What did you want to be? What did you want to do?
in the beginning of my life, I wanted to be a chef actually.
Uh-huh.
Because I've always been a good cook. Since the time I can barely walk, I've been cooking. And sometimes adults would even try my food and they wouldn't believe that I was the one that made it.
Well,
That's how good I.
what's one of your favorite dishes then?
Well, before my favorite dish was baked chicken, but now I don't eat meat anymore. So it's like my favorite dish is making vegan tacos.
Vegan tacos?
Yes.
Okay. So coming up, you want to be a cook or chef. Anything else you wanted to be before you thought you would go into the world of saving people or defending the country?
When around middle school to the beginning of high school, I was thinking about forensic science or maybe doing some detective work because I will always watch Law and Order, and I found interest in getting DNA samples and investigating stuff, and that's what I really wanted to do. And then when I got older, I was like, I think I want to do corrections, but then I was like, I just want to do NYPD, and then my heart just fell in love with FDNY, so I just knew it was for me because my heart just fell in love with it.
Is that because when you went there, you were able to play with the fire hose and ring the bell and all those other things?
Yes, I play with the fire hose. They even put me in the firefighter gear and they put me on a rope and they allowed me to jump off a roof. And I did
Really?
that when I was 17. And the firefighters, EMS, all of them, they was very nice, very patient with me. They explained everything to me and I just realized it was for me. It was just amazing. It was fun.
And then from there, you went into the National Guards. How did you make that
Um,
transition too? What made you decide? Because you're already doing something, and now you're doing this in the armed services.
so in the when I went to become 18, I always wanted to join the military, but I never joined because everybody was scared, was getting scared. So I was like, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go. I was gonna go in the army originally, but I was
Mhm.
like, let me just wait it out. And then I got called for the fire department. And funny story, when I got called for the fire department, my list number was 1111, like four ones.
Yeah.
And back then, I didn't even know about angel numbers back then. But now looking back, I was like, that that was a synchronicity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
So
no. So anyway, though, over and above that, so getting back to the more esoteric, holistic side of it, it seems like almost counterintuitive in a sense that you who would be working day in day out in emergency situations, because when you're talking about EMF, you never know when you're going to be called, what the situation is going to be imagined, and no matter what you may have to do. So I would imagine you have to go through CPR, all those other things that people might take for granted.
Yes, we have to learn CPR. We have to learn how to use oxygen to save people's lives. And yeah, like we do CPR all the time. And I'm glad that I know that skill because there's been times when I've been off duty and I've helped save people when I'm in regular
Seriously?
clothes.
Hold up, wait a
So
minute. There were times when you were off duty and an emergency happened. What happened? Could you share one incident, one experience?
I have one funny incident. It was when I was new actually to EMS, and I was out on Coney Island Beach, and I was in a bathing suit. In the beginning, I went over there. I think people didn't believe me when I said I knew what to do. They just didn't believe me because I wasn't in uniform.
That makes
So
sense. That makes
I
sense.
went over there. I asked one of the EMS personnel, hand me this medication, this, and this. Once they saw the language I was speaking their language, they knew I wasn't lying. I identified myself. I gave the man oxygen, and we all helped the man up. And the guy woke up after I gave him Narcan. But yeah, I saved his life, and everybody was clapping. So I feel
In
like
a bathing suit. Who would have ever thought?
yeah, it was in a bathing suit. So in the beginning, people just thought I was just a crazy lady running over there. But it's a good skill to have because you never know when you may need it one day. You never know if anybody around you is choking or they pass on in front of you. You know what to do and you know how to save them. So
So you're saying that whether a person is in the business of EMS or non-EMS, there's certain things that basically all of us, the lay person, should have a basic skill set about, and one of
yes,
them is CPR.
yes, CPR is very important. If somebody has doesn't have a pulse and they're not breathing, doing CPR is the difference between life or death. That can save the person just from pumping on their chest. CPR actually does 25% of what the heart does, and the point of CPR
Really?
is so the blood can regulate all over the body. And as you're pushing, you're keeping that blood regulating. You're keeping the rhythm of the heart. That's the point of CPR. And when CPR started immediately, it gives the person a greater chance of living and getting a pulse back.
I was told there was a client that told me one time her sister had a very severe episode, and what she did was she ran to the refrigerator, got ice cubes out, and put it on her temples. Have you ever heard of that?
I've never heard of it. And for like CPR or
No, no, it's just I don't know about CPR, but it's evidently the woman had an episode, and um, I guess maybe that's old school stuff before the modern techniques of CPR and stuff come in. I guess there's all kind of ways that people use, but I was told that what the lady did to help save her sister was she got ice cubes and put them on both sides of her temple, and she kind of came back because you made the gesture of something around the face with the CPR. That's the only thing that triggered that memory for me.
yeah, she may have been unconscious, unresponsive, or passed out. Like she still has a pulse, but not responding. That's like unconscious, unresponsive. Sometimes cold water may wake them up, or they may have passed out. And that can help.
Okay, well, listen, I keep going back and forth because this is so interesting to have a on a holistic side, and yet another person, or you, for example, dealing with the more medical and military side of the equation. And I was saying, does that clash, or does people question your decisions in that way? Does that make sense?
Well, so far nobody has ever questioned it because I'm just at the end of the day I'm saving lives and they understand that the skills that I'm learning is beneficial to help people and save people's lives every day. And if it wasn't for our EMS and the fire department, a lot of people wouldn't be able to live into the next day. So I think it's very important to learn a lot of skills that 911 and first responders know because you never know how you can help somebody.
Amen on that one. This person said CMOS in Trinidad is everywhere and easy to get good quality. Are you aware of CMOS from Trinidad?
Yes, I'm aware of CMOS in all areas of the Caribbean. I know people who get CMOS from Grenada as well and Jamaica.
So for you, out of all the areas of CMOS, you decide you're going with Tanzania.
I went with Tanzania, Africa because the YouTuber that I looked up to, I saw her using that sea moss, and then when I tried it and I saw it work for me, and the people around me really liked it, I said this sea moss works for me, so this is the sea moss I'm gonna go with.
Now, this person here says KT, the art degree, has CMOS from Tanzania. Are you familiar with KT, the art degree?
I'm not familiar with that person.
Okay, well, this person here says she's adorable and they like your hair buns. Okay,
Thank you so much.
okay. Um, now, this person, Ernest, guy says, Lloyd, can you mention again the names of the products to cleanse the gonads, the general area of men? Yes. In fact, that's a good question. In other words, do men use that kundalona, whatever that is? Do they use needle? Do they use mudwork? Do they use the same herbs that women use? That's a good question, Ernest. Thank you so much.
So the men use burdock root. They'll use
Oh,
that. They'll use orange peels. They'll
orange
use
peels.
Yes, orange peels help. They do use the candula and they do use the mugwort.
Okay, now here's the thing I need to know, both men and women. What do you do? Do they boil the water? Do they then pour it in a bowl and then squat over it or sit over it? Is that how that works? Do you,
So if you're coming to get it done professionally, I have a steam pot where I boil the water with the herbs for about after it boils, I let it sit for about 5 minutes and then I put it in here and
Mhm.
then it sit on here with the gown. Now at home, if they have a pot, they could just squat over the pot. What I like to use is it's a chair that the elderly use when they can't use the bathroom. I
Oh
brought
yeah, yeah,
one of
yeah.
those
Hmm.
and I put my herbs in there with the hot water. That's what I do for myself at home. And I just wrap around a blanket. I drink my tea and I just meditate on anything I want to manifest. I usually only steam towards the end of the week because I like to release anxiety or anything from the week
Well,
before
in
I
your
move into the
case,
new
what
week.
you do, that makes a lot of sense. Can you turn around so people can get a view of the chair? That's the
Yeah.
chair that people use to sit on?
Yes, this is the chair that they use to sit on. I actually have three of them, and I allow people to throw yoni steam parties as well, or steam parties.
Really?
And yes, they do steam parties, and then also paint too.
Paint? What do you mean paint?
So I have canvases where they paint while they're steaming.
Really?
Yes.
Is that part of the therapy? Does that make sense?
Yes, because I feel like when you paint, you're releasing like all the anxiety and stress because you're like it's almost like you're writing everything down, like you're releasing.
Wow. Somebody, they're from Toronto and they're thanking both you and myself for sharing this knowledge. You know, it's so interesting how people take things for granted. And somebody always says fire. They hear says right here at the bottom of the screen, firefighters was always their favorite since they were a kid, and they saved them, which I think is interesting. Um, what has been your experience, and how have you felt, for example, Leah, if you were not able to save a person? You know how sometimes they gotta, like I was told, doctors sometimes if the patient pass or can't doesn't expires, they gotta be clinical or cold or detached. Is it how can you say? I would be kind of emotional. Can you separate emotions from you wanted to save this person, especially if it's a child or an infant or something of that nature? How do you handle that if a person doesn't make it when you come to their aid, if that makes sense?
I would say, in all honesty, in the beginning of my career, it took me a while to get used to being able to tell a family member like, hey, this person hasn't made it. Or now I just when that happens, I just tell myself like God just had other plans, or the person's in heaven right now. That's a way that I cope with that. Like I look at it in a positive way. Like this person transitioned somewhere beautiful, or it was just their time to go.
Wow. Okay. This person, Jackie Washington says, we have two things in common, referring to you and to her, that they're in the Air Force and they are Virgo like you. All right.
Wow.
Okay. This is from King Simon. King Simon is good. King Simon also said CPR is very important. For a person, where do they go to learn? Can they learn something as simple as, okay, let me go to uh, um, YouTube? Should they go? Do you know what I'm saying? So they can do it properly. And is there certain equipment that people should have in their home or in their vehicle in case of a situation that requires some CPR? Does that make
Yes,
sense?
so I know online. I learned CPR through the fire department, but for people that's not in the fire department, they have I've heard that the Red Cross sometimes do free classes for CPR. Also you can go online and you could just Google your nearest EMS trainers, EMS instructors. I'm actually looking into wanting to teach that as well, actually, now that you mention it. Because I realize a lot of people want to learn CPR because it's very important. And I would say it's very important to also know how to use an AED because the AED is the one that shocks your heart and it gets your pulse back.
What does AED mean? That's the thing. Those fibrillators or whatever it is. That it? Is
Yes,
that the one in the
it's a
center?
defibrillator, and what you do, you usually place a pad here, you place a pad here, and when you open the AED, it's very easy. The first thing you want to do is turn it on, and then you want to place the pads, and it has a picture on the pads where to place it. You follow the picture, you plug it in, and you listen to the prompts, and it'll tell you begin CPR, or you got to listen to the AED when it tells you stand clear of patient, because it's telling you to move away from the patient and you press that button. It has like a lightning bolt on it. And if it tells you to deliver a shock, you press that button and it gives the person a shock and it gets their pulse back. So you just pay attention to the prompts. Anybody can do CPR. It's very easy.
Now I've seen. You know how they have the movies that like back. You know, and then the person's body will convulse and then they do it again. So that's a part of this. And what you call it, AID or whatever?
You said the lightning bolt?
Yeah. In other words, and you know that when you said you put it to the body and it jolts the body, but they tell people around to stand back.
Yes. The reason why you stand back is because if you're shocking the patient and you don't want to touch the patient while and get shocked with the patient, in
Oh, you
other
can
words,
actually
because
get
that can,
shocked. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You were
um,
saying you can get shocked with the patient too.
yes, if you touch the patient while the patient's being shocked, that's why they're telling you to stand clear of patient, deliver a shock, because when you deliver a shock, you don't want to touch the patient while that's being done.
Okay, I learn something new every day. Okay, let me move on to something else. This is interesting. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. This person wants to know: Do you steam? Do you do Yanni steam for a group of women, 3 or 4, and how much for
Oh,
the other?
yes. So I do when they doing a yoni steam party, what I do is that I have 3 chairs, so it's a group of 3. So either I do, because I know a lot of people are afraid of COVID. So what I do is either you do an individual steam, or I allow you to steam with people that you know and that you feel comfortable around.
Hmm.
And I have 3 yoni steam chairs, and I also have 3 canvases, and I have paint as well. And for that, I allow them to do it for 2 hours because it's a party, so they could walk around. I also have drinks and refreshments, like I have like vegan cookies, and we just sit and vent. We vent, and then also we meditate as well.
That's amazing. That is very interesting. But hold up now. You said that 2 hours. So in other words, they can sit on this chair and still get up and walk around, and then they come back and sit on it again. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what they do.
Okay, you can tell this is all new to me, but it's okay. I'm assuming that everybody, even women, don't know all these things too. So
No.
I hope I answered some of their questions. And you said it's about 2 hours. How often do you give it?
You said how often do I get yoni steams?
No, no, not you. How often do people come? In other words, this person asked about a yoni party. How often should they come? Should they come once a month, once a week, once every other month, once 6 months? Does that make sense? Or on average, let's say just one woman. How often should she come to get a yoni steam? Once a week?
Like at least once a week or once every other week, whenever you have time, because I know everybody's busy with their schedule.
Okay. You know, this person here says they said they believe that the Tanzania sea moss is purple too. And I noticed when you showed the jar, it looked like it had purple.
Yes.
So they are correct.
Yes, they're correct. It's purple. I didn't put any food coloring in here. This is how it looks.
No, because I meant to ask you that because I've seen sea moss, but it's normally kind of yellowish, kind of like.
Yes.
I wonder why that turns purple. Okay, anyway, that's not a question. It says and then this person here asked, and maybe you explained it, but maybe they didn't catch on. What are the ingredients in your yoni steam?
So in my yoni steam, I use candula, I use needle, I use mugwort, I use rosebuds. Sometimes I even use lavender, but it depends on what the person wants. But one of my main ingredients I like to use is the rosebuds because I like to help women with self love, like
Hmm.
help building up confidence and the self-esteem and getting rid of all the negativity. And also what I also include in my yoni steams is essential oil as well, like peppermint oil, tea tree, and lavender oil, the organic one.
Now, this person here says, what herbs to use for someone having urine in the blood? They probably mean blood in the urine. I think that's what they're trying to say.
I'll,
Yeah, it says, what herbs to use for someone having urine in the blood? Or do they mean blood in the urine?
um, I'm not too sure, but I would say that for that situation, that person may need to cleanse. So I would say make candula and mugwort. It's very good for cleansing the vaginal area.
Okay, okay. All right, this is interesting. Some of the responses that people get. It says one person says, "Can the yoni be ordered?" Does that make sense?
The yoni herbs currently right now, I don't have a website where I can ship anybody any yoni herbs at the moment, but I am currently working on that.
Okay, and this is interesting because somebody says she reminds me of Leia of Star Wars. May the Force be with you.
Everybody says that.
I'm not a Star Wars fan. I hadn't even thought about that, but okay, here's one other one. Uh, Everyone should know CPR and how to use the IED. What does the acronym of AED stand for, please?
Automatic internal defibrillator.
What's that again?
It's the automatic internal defibrillator.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Good. This one says, does Leah send her CMOS or can you only purchase it in person? Very good
At the
question, Tony.
yes, at the moment it's in person. At the moment. But if you really need it delivered, like if you're far away, I would figure out how to ship it to you.
Okay, and this person says, I think she would be a good teacher, would take that class if she was in the same city. Her energy seems to be so pure. Question, have you ever thought about teaching yoni techniques or practices? I think
I
that's
was
interesting
thinking about it
question.
because so many people have been asking me that question. So I've been thinking about it.
Okay, and we're almost at the hour. I'm not going to keep you, but this is very interesting. This is another. The one thing about the viewers, they ask interesting questions because this one asks, does CMOS and Yanni steaming work if you are not a vegan or vegetarian? Because you said you were vegetarian. I would imagine it works whether you're a meat eater or non-meat eater. Would that be correct?
Yes, it works for everyone. It has nothing to do with the diet. It helps with everyone.
Yeah, because that was my question that you answered. In other words, if so, who seems to benefit more, the vegetarian or non-vegetarian when they take it?
I would say both benefit equally because I've had both come to me. They both benefit equally.
Okay, now this is that left a long one here that says, I'm happy to be writing this article here. I'm here to explore a blog about the wonderful and most safe cures for herpes simplex virus. I was positive about the deadly virus called herpes or whatever. Wow, this is kind of long. Did they have a question? Does Johnny deal with some of these things too that this person just talked about?
Yes, if someone has any infections down there, it does help with those infections or breaking out. It does help with that.
Okay, and evidently this person here be mentioned about that color. She says beige sea moss. That's exactly the color. Thank you there, Miss Everett. Is Irish sea moss. Okay. Um, and she says, thank you, Rose. Evidently she likes a rose too. So you're getting all these positive things, and I'm thinking this, okay, this one is uva urus is a good one. Need to address your diet with blood and urine. Are you familiar with uva urus?
Oh, I don't know
Also,
what your. No, I don't.
okay. Um, and it says, and this person says, if there's blood in the urine, then get your kidneys checked. And then somebody must have answered my question, said Lloyd, okay, it's automatic external defibrillator. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. And this person says, Leah, you need to get a website. Do you have a website?
Yes, actually, when you go to my Instagram and you click in my bio on my Instagram, you'll see at Manifesting Desires NYC in my bio. You click that and you'll see my website.
Okay, and there at the bottom, near the bottom of the page, next to Cash App, her IG name is Leah LEAHS underscore manifesting underscore place. And you're saying if they come to this location on your IG, that's when they'll be able to connect to your website.
Yes, it connects to my business account. It says Manifesting Desires NYC, and then they'll see my website and they'll click on it because it's like a really long name.
Okay. Well, I tell you this. I asked a boatload of questions. Thank you very much for bearing with me. And I just think this is very, very interesting how this works. Let me see if we can get maybe one or two more. And then I'm
Okay.
gonna let me see. It says, okay, Lloyd, I think the long post was spam because I believe it's seen it before. So okay, I have to get used to. I'm now getting word back that people are spamming, people are hacking, whatever the case is, pretending to be somebody else. They said you think they'd have enough time to do something else with their lives other than trying to copy somebody, be an original. All right. So, by the way, my name Lloyd is spelled just like you said at the bottom of my screen, live with Lloyd, because Lloyd has been spelled other ways. And Strayhorn does not have an E at the end of the name. Nowhere in my name, Lloyd Strayhorn, is there the letter E. I'm just saying, just in case somebody says, "Okay, Stray, you've been talking all this. We're gonna hack your thing too." One of the things, please, everybody who is in this session here, I do not and I will not call you and ask and solicit money. There are two people, one I'm going to have later on in the month, where they pretended to be her. They said, hi, love. Okay, they're appealing to my masculine side, I guess they call it. And do you want a reading? And we'll do it. Then they want to do it right now. And I'm saying, I will never page you on a DM, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and never ask to solicit money. If you ever hear that, that's not me. I don't roll like that. Okay. It's not that I don't need money like everybody else, but I don't put no pressure. I don't like being pressured, and I will never pressure any of you. So I'm just saying that. Leah, before is there any? What I want to do is I want to announce who is going to be on my show next week, and a couple of things. So can you bear with me a second?
Okay.
Okay, good. Everybody, okay. So I wanna do this. First of all, there's a couple of things. I wanted to donate this show to women since we've been talking about the wombs and things like that. That's very important. But I gotta let you know that next Monday, on the 11th, I'm going to have this very special guest. Her name is the Angel Epps. This sister is bad. She's a bad cardiologist. She's an illustrator. She does a lot of other talents, as most people are that tend to come on this show. She will be my guest on Monday, the 11th. Make sure you tune in. And she is an illustrator as well. Okay. So she is coming on for Monday uh, to do that. Then next on that Wednesday, the 13th, will be this beautiful sister, Readings by Callie. She does manifestation magic. Okay. You sisters are awesome. Well, she's going to bring her manifestation or magic to Live with Lloyd next Wednesday, a week from today. A couple of things I want to acknowledge too. King Simon's show is starting now. The woman that you see there is her name is High Heels. That's what she goes by. All right. So she's on the show right now, starting today at 8 p.m. on King Simon's title. I mean King Simon's platform on YouTube. Then all I want to let other people know that in addition, that Mama Mystic, who was who had chimed in. I had her on the show also talking about the womb. Evidently, the womb is a very important concern to women for other reasons other than whatever that is. I'm trying to get the words together on that one. But anyway, she has written this journal about the taking care of the womb and stuff. The sister's awesome. She is going to be back. And her name is Mama Mystic. Okay, it's just the womb book. And by the way, Sister Oracle, I have a couple of tarot ladies, but Oracle and the Light We Awaken has expanded the book. That when she was first on the show a couple of months back, she has now expanded this and added more philosophical poems and things of that nature. And my other favorite tarot lady, K Cosmic, this is hers. I'm showing these because I want all of you to support my guests. People say, Lord, you got a great show. No, I have great guests. It's my guests that make me look good. So I have to give credit where credit is good to the Mama Mystics, the Oracle, the K Cosmics. Also, Kaya French is having a reading. She's giving discounts. So this year, if you want to get a reading at a discount from, I think it's she said the 5th through the 11th or the 12th, please take advantage of getting your forecast from her. And so this is it. Also, by the way, I'm not finished yet. Um, and this is Jackie Levine. She has offering. This is her birthday month, right? So she's offering a 20% discount. This is the sister that put me on the map as far as my numerology course is concerned. She's the one that took it upon her to get me together. No charge. That's the most amazing thing. She just did it out of spirit. God bless her for that. Yeah, I try not to talk too bad about her, but she is very important. And I had to run and get my charger because I will be losing this show in a minute if I don't. Okay, but she is having her 20 her all you got to use is her birthday code and she give a 20% discount. Now it gets interesting. She happens to be born on the 20th day of the month, so maybe that's it. And on her birthday, the 20th of April, she will also be a guest on the show. Now, for those, for I want to let you know that the monthly newsletter for April is out. So all you got to do is go to lloyd-strayhorn.com, go down. Once you hit the landing page, sign up for the free monthly newsletter. It is something that Kaya French and I've been doing. So for those of you, the Kaya French fans, you just go to kayafrench.com and sign up on there, or you can go to my website there. But the April issue is now out. And for tomorrow, I will be on Clubhouse. And so it's Learn from Lloyd with numerology. So that's going to be very interesting there. So that's it there. So to rehash it is that. then the free monthly newsletter, and then all this month, Jackie Levine is having a discount of 20%. All you got to do is go to her site and sign up. Kaya French, she is offering something for the next couple of days, all at a discount. And Kay Cosmic, and I like the way Kay Cosmic reads. She's so smooth with her stuff, but that's her style. But please support her. The reason why I put all these people on here so you can show that kind of love for them. All of them, I think, with the exception maybe of Leah Ray, who has an EMS and National Guard. That every single one of these other people are out here on faith, out here just out of a passion of doing it. And of course, please buy Oracal's book, In the Light We Awaken, and of course, Mama Mystic's book, The Womb, and of course, be tuned into please be stay tuned into King Simon. So anyway, that's it for the most part. Do I have I think she may have left. Leah, are you still with us? Okay, there you go. There you go. Leah, I want to thank you very, very much. Let me put your banner up one more time so people know how to get in touch with you. Okay, and there it is right there at the bottom of the screen. Leah Ray, holistic womb healer, maker of CMOS and body scrubs, CPR expert, AED expert. I might as well throw that in too. Uh, Fire EMS, National Guard, Air Force. You wear a lot of hats. Proud of you, sister. That's nice.
Thank you.
And you got a nice mother. I know your mother too. She don't play. So I understand where she's coming from with you. Her number, Leah's number is 347-669-5143. That's 347-669-5143. And her IG is Leah, LEAHS underscore manifesting underscore place. And her cash app, yes, she may work for EMS. Yes, she may work for the National Guards and whatnot, defending the country, but still show the system some love so she can buy those that CMOS from Tanzania. I imagine if it's coming from that far, it ain't easy, it ain't cheap either. So please show Leah some love at $ LEAH at 7568. And what is interesting, Leah is born on the 26th of August. And if you look at those four numbers, it adds up to 26. That's why I asked her, how'd you get that? And she said she don't know, but that just shows you the intuitions that things happen. Leah, thank you very much. By the way, young lady, you have any closing words before we get off?
I just want to say thank you so much for everybody showing me support on this live. God bless. Have a great night.
Have you ever done this before?
No.
This your first time?
Yes.
Well, I am truly honored to have you as my very first guest in that regard. I'm sure you're going to be very successful in the future, and God bless you, okay?
Thank you.
All right. So, everybody, I want to thank you very much for joining me. Um, I look forward to seeing you next week with my special guest on Monday, the angel cardologer extraordinaire, brilliant, brilliant sister. And then the reading by Callie on the 13th of April. And so, everybody, I want y'all all to have a very nice day, a great, great weekend. Take good care of yourselves. And don't forget, sign up for the free monthly newsletter that's available right now. Don't cost you anything. And for those that are into Clubhouse, where I'm teaching this subject on numerology, please make sure you visit. It's my room is Numbers and You, named after my book, but it's called Learn from Lloyd with Numerology, and it's every Thursday at 7 p.m. until such time. Everybody, I want to thank you. Okay, let me knock this out. I'm getting the hang of this. Everybody, y'all have a nice day. Thank you so much.